5.2 days is the average wait time across the country. So we cut that down tremendously. So if you'd call our store today, I could go look at your car tomorrow, no matter what issue you were having, just so I can have a little, do a checkup on it. And from a customer experience, it's a wow when I pull in their driveway, and it's a double wow I can do it the next day.
Welcome to Retention Roadmap, navigating service success for new car dealerships. Today, I'm thrilled to have with me Jeremy Stevens, the Remote Operations Director at Bozard Ford Lincoln in St. Augustine, Florida. One of the most innovative Ford dealerships in the country, where they're renowned for their commitment to customer satisfaction, offering top-tier sales and service while prioritizing customer convenience and retention. As Remote Operations Director, Jeremy plays a critical role in shaping how Bozard Ford Lincoln delivers exceptional customer service, particularly through their innovative remote service solutions, which we're going to talk a lot about today, where they currently have over 40 mobile service units currently in operation. So today we'll dive into how Jeremy and his team are leveraging remote service to enhance the customer satisfaction experience, boost loyalty, and ultimately retain more service customers. So let's get started. Jeremy, great to see you again, and welcome to the podcast.
No, thank you for having me. I'm glad to be a part of this.
Absolutely. Really looking forward to our discussion today. So just want to start out, if we could, Jeremy, start out by sharing a little bit about your role as a remote service operations director at Bozard and how remote service plays a role in enhancing the customer experience.
So my role is pretty much I operate anything outside the dealership. So that's how we defined it. So we have Matt Norris, he's the fixed operations director, and he handles everything at the dealership. And then I handle everything out the side. So I kind of make fun of them. I was like, you're the domesticated guy and we're the wild people outside. So that's how we kind of distinguish it inside. But that's one thing I love about the mobile services, that customer experience, because this customers been screaming this for years, that they love buying a car, but nobody really wants to go back to the dealership and follow in that process because it does take some time.
Right.
I just looked at a J.D. Powers survey, and it's like 5.2 days is the average wait time across the country, and that. So we cut that down tremendously. So if you'd call our store today, I could go look at your car tomorrow, no matter what issue you were having, just so I can have a little, do a checkup on it. And from a customer experience, it's a wow when I pull in their driveway, and it's a double wow I can do it the next day. So it's been pretty cool to get that customer feedback, how they really like that.
Yeah, for sure. So what inspired the dealership to implement remote service, and really how has it impacted customer retention and as well as your overall, service efficiency?
Yeah. So our store customer retention is over 70%. So we always had a great retention number. And the reason I came down to help grow this is because they wanted to kind of relieve their main shop capacity. Because what was happening is, we get overloaded and we get weeks and weeks behind, and that's not really serving your customers. So what we do, we walk through the shop and figure out, what job is this? Why don't this have, does this need a lift and whatever? So we take those away. So anything that doesn't require a lift, we do that to help maximize our main shop capacity, and also bring, the customer experience back, because it kind of helps, both ways on that. And even on, let's say, a check engine light or anything, if I go to your house and look at your car and I'm doing a diagnostic on it, needs a catalytic converter, I'm probably not going to do that in the field, but the technician's going to drop their notes and their 3 C's in there, and we're going to order that catalytic converter. And when that catalytic converter comes in, we may go pick up your car. So you're not having to take your car to the dealership, have them check it, then they order parts, and then they have to take a couple days to get the parts. So we're shrinking down that wait time there. So it's pretty much maximizing my main shop.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, I'd like to go back to your comment about service department capacity. One of the things that we found in a survey we did in 2023 on why customers return to the dealership and why they don't, one of the things that we found that was new in 2023 that didn't exist in 2020 was the risk of defection of the customer if they couldn't get a service appointment right away.
Yeah.
So, I'm really curious to hear from you how that's impacted not only your ability to provide a great service to the customer, as you said, next day, but also how has your mobile operation impacted your your shop capacity for those customers or those jobs that do need to be in the shop.
Yeah. So it has so that's one thing that we're monitoring. I don't have exact numbers, but this is what I do know. So last August, the mobile team did 427 ROs. So that was last August, which is a lot.
Yeah.
You imagine taking 400 ROs out of your main shop per month. That frees you up, especially when the technicians in the shop, the master technicians, are high fiving you because they don't have to do these pity recalls where they're arms deep in the engine and the visor says, "Hey, I got to ask you a favor. Can you do this recall?"
Right.
So we're eliminating that part of it. And this past August, we did a little over 1,700 ROs in 1 month.
Wow.
So that's where it maximizes your shop capacity. So those big jobs, they can get done in the shop. You're not stopping and pulling your technician off to do this. And it's a little bit easier for them to navigate dispatch and work in the main shop when I can take the stuff that nobody really likes to do. They have to do it. They're not excited when they pull a one-line ticket that says recall, or let's say a technician ordered a seat trim place and a seat trim piece, and it's like that customer's got to drive their car all the way to the dealership, and it's got to go through the service advisor, then it's got to be waiting to be dispatched, and it's got to go through a tech, and then it takes 2 minutes to put this trim piece in, but it takes hours of work to get there. Our guys comb the special order thing, and they look, it's like, hey, I can do this mobily, and I can go out there to the guy's house 15 miles down the road and be back in an hour and just make that customer happy. So mobile is a big picture item where you got to look at the overall big picture of it, because you can do the math. If you take 1,700 ROs out of your shop, your effective labor rate's going to go tremendously up in your main shop, because I just took all the little stuff that nobody really wants to do
Yeah. Right.
away from your guys that you're paying a lot of money to do the big heavy line work.
Interesting. Wow. From a mobile perspective, what are some of the more common services that your remote operations do, or the types of services that you really want to be doing out in the field as opposed to in the shop?
So we do a lot of fleet work, which of course, and that's all your maintenance work. A lot of oil changes and rotating tires.
Mm-hmm.
Our bread and butter is recalls, really. So we have a list of recalls that's mobile friendly, and we work that list tremendously. So we get a lot of work on recalls, and if they got a recall, chances are they need an oil change.
Yep.
So do a lot of that, a lot of check engine lights, a lot of diagnostics, because a lot of this check engine lights you can do without a lift. Even if you need to take a tire off or stuff, we have stuff to do that. We do tires. We have 2 tire vans now, and that's been. I was worried about getting into the tire thing, and but we launched a second van, and the first day it's like his calendar's booked up, and that's one thing my mobile tech guys are saying is like customers are asking if we do tires all the time.
Yeah.
So you got this big old billboard in neighborhoods, and people are knocking on their doors trying to figure out, hey, what else can you do? So we push the envelope. We just see, we see how far we can go. We've done water pumps. It's just you got to figure out what your guys can do and what you feel comfortable doing.
Sure. Well, you mentioned tires there, and we were talking earlier before we started recording about the importance of tires.
Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about what your thinking is with respect to doing tires via mobile service, and what you hope to accomplish there.
So with our tire services, tires is a great customer retention tool. Everybody knows that. Everybody speaks on it, so everybody knows that. And there's tire places popping up all over the place. If you drive around your house, they're all over the place. So there's something there, and it's just so many different opportunities with it, and especially being mobile, it just makes it that much more convenient. And the market is trending to tires, so we went ahead and outfitted another van to do tires, because I know it's going to grow. And like I said, the first day my calendar booked up with tires, and now I'm in a hurry to get my other tire tech up and running so I can do that route, especially with fleet customers. County customers. We actually had some guys work the hurricane with our county shop, and man, they were slam busy with just tire repairs, patches, and replacing tires and stuff like that. So there's going to be a huge opportunity with tires, with EVs and stuff like that. Tires is going to be the new oil change. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be a game changer for us. So we're going to maximize everything we can. So I don't want to stop with two. I'm thinking I may need two more next year.
Yeah. Yeah. Couldn't agree with you more. I'm curious if you know the answer to this question, but when a customer calls and makes an appointment with you for remote service and they need tires, is the catalyst for that typically they've got tire that's been damaged or they've got a flat tire, or is it the customer who just knows that it's time to replace them based upon their last service visit? Do you have any insights on that?
I don't even, that's a good question because I was like, what, we need to track that. But it's very rare that customers call in and price out tires because of all the online tire prices and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Usually we proactively price them out when they're doing that multi-point inspection and stuff like that. But you don't get those phone calls that just want to price out tires and stuff like that. And we're evolving into this online presence also. So we're changing some software and trying to be where customers can click on it and price a lot of our stuff out. And it's been a challenge with dealerships because there's so many different price structures and
Yeah.
it's a lot. But we're moving in that direction to kind of clear that up and make it a little bit more efficient for our customers. We're trying to look at every angle of our business through the customer lens and that's making a bigger impact on our side of how we grow into that.
From a pricing perspective, I know a lot of dealerships who are getting into mobile service are struggling with this a bit. How do you determine your pricing for some of those, common services, non-recall type services, vis-a-vis how you price them when a customer comes into your dealership for an in-store visit?
So this does get tossed around, and what I've been doing, I've been studying aftermarket mobile, because if you Google mobile service, it's a lot of mobile service. So I do a lot of studies with the aftermarket world and just seeing how they do it. Even the HVAC companies and the plumbers, I'm looking at see how they do it, and it's all across the board. You just got to figure out what works with you. We're
Yeah.
not a fee dealership, so a lot of places charge like a $40 travel fee for it. Um, you know, I talked to another dealership in Texas. They have a different mobile menu price where they escalate their prices. It's like, hey, a mobile oil change it's like $20 or $30 more than it's if you went to the store.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different little pricing structures that you gotta offset with. Lucky for us, we're a Ford dealership, so Ford has come to the plate big time, and they're offering, they pay us money for every experience on that part. So our deal is our prices is what the prices are when you come into the dealership. We don't charge a trip fee or anything like that. So at a Ford, you have a huge advantage being a Ford dealership doing mobile service.
Yeah. Yeah. Ford has definitely made a big commitment
Yeah.
in that area.
But if not, you still can make it work with your pricing structure. You just got to figure out what direction you want to go in.
Right.
And,
Right.
and everybody thinks mobile service is so complex and complicated, and it's really not. It's like it's just everybody overthinks it, and
Yeah.
it's like just stick with the basics. Dealerships are good at making things work.
That's true. That's very true. So speaking of that, I'm curious, mobile service has been around in various forms for a lot of years, and but it seems to have really I'm seeing a resurgence in it, and I think that from from the perspective of your dealership, I don't know of anyone who's made a bigger commitment or has been more successful with it. What are some of the changes that you've seen over the last, just limited to the last couple of years, from a technological standpoint or equipment related standpoint or a market standpoint that has caused, mobile service to be this to be the time for mobile service?
I think it's a time for the dealership to evolve a little bit, because if you think about the service department, the technology has changed, but the process has not changed since I was a little kid, where you went to the dealership, you spoke to your service advisor, and it went through that whole entire process on that part of it. And customers want something different. And it's definitely a competitive advantage for us that we have mobile service on that part of it. Something else to offer. But as far as like the cutting edge and tools and stuff, because when you talk about it, it's like, why haven't we done this like 10 years ago? It's like, and it's everybody thinks it's this new thing, and it's like everybody's been doing mobile for a long time, but like you're right, it's just catching on,
Yeah.
and the tools and equipment are there's really nothing special about it. There's a couple little special different things that we use, but most of it is just, you know, regular hand tools, a drain plug, and a drain pan, and little odd and end stuff like that. It's just you got to be a little bit more careful, especially when you're in somebody's driveway. But
Right.
I mean, it's 2024. They got special mats, absorbent mats. They got all sorts of stuff that you can have to help with that.
Yeah.
But the cutting edge technology, we're working on a lot of different softwares. Ford is piloting some programs with us for as remote services. So a lot of future stuff is coming to help with mobile service to make it that much more convenient.
Yeah. Excellent. How has offering remote service to your customers helped differentiate your dealership's service in your area from your competition? And what impact has it had on customer retention and loyalty from your perspective?
So if we start with sales, like our sales staff is phenomenal at Bozard, and they love mobile because it's just an added perk for them. It's like, if you do get a recall, if you do need an oil change, don't even worry about coming back to see us. We'll go see you. We ran into so many scenarios where if you ever worked at a dealership, there's been a time where you sell a car and the next day something happens to that car. And we have 2 or 3 stories where we get wind of it and we send a mobile tech out there. We change the schedules, like, hey, be at that guy's house at 8 o'clock. And even if we can't fix it, it gives you that peace of mind. It's like, holy cow, those guys came out the same morning. And we save deals that way, because usually with those deals, you unwind them. It's like there's no recovery. But with mobile service, you had that edge right there. It's like, you go fix that car, go wherever, something, if a technician left a part out of the main shop, or if it breaks down on the side of the road that we've caused, we had that mobile service to go fix it right then and there. Just, it gives you so much flexibility and just a stronghold. It's pretty cool.
That's fantastic. Have you seen it opening up any new revenue streams for the dealership?
Oh, absolutely, on fleet customers.
Okay.
So it doesn't take much at all to sell mobile service to a fleet customer. Jasmine is one of our lead advisors, and we went to go visit this HVAC company that had like 40 vans. And we kind of rehearsed what we're going to say. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. And we walked in there, and there was like, I think they were going to, I really thought that this customer was thinking that we were going to tell them how we're going to service their cars. And we went in there and just like, hey, what do you want us to do? And it blew. He said, what do you mean? It's like, do you want us for a full day? Do you want me to schedule a day a week, every 2 weeks? I'll have a guy sitting in here waiting for it. And it blew him away. And we just said what we can do. And he was eager. It's like, it can't be that easy. I was like, yeah, we'll make it easy for you. Just call this number and we'll schedule it for you. We'll arrange it. We'll do everything. You park the cars wherever you want to. We'll make it work. And it's easy. It's so easy to walk in a fleet. They don't have to worry about their employee dropping the car off and waiting for it. But what it does, it creates that relationship. So when Bozard Ford does mobile service, who do you think that fleet customer is going to go to when they want to buy some more vehicles? They'll go to us every single time.
Beautiful.
So
Beautiful.
it's pretty cool to see that and to see it in action, and just getting the customer's facial expression when, it's like, yeah, we'll do that. We can do this. We can do brakes. We can do tires, whatever you got. If we can't fix it, we got to roll back. We'll pick it up and take it to the dealership and bring it back to you.
Beautiful. So Jeremy, from a operational perspective, what are some of the KPIs or key performance indicators that you focus on that kind of measure the effectiveness or the efficiency of your remote service operations, and particularly if you have any around customer retention?
Yeah. So a lot of them, and we're still dialing it in a little bit too, because we don't have all the answers. We have a lot of vans on the road, so we're doing a lot of, oh crap, don't do that again. Let's not do that. So we've been playing with different measurements and just trying to figure out what works. So, right now we do measure gross profit. We do measure how many repair orders we do in a day. And a lot of stuff we can't control now because we don't have the software to help logistically with it. Because right now if we had 4 trucks, it would be very easy. It's a little bit easier. I could manage that. But when you have a lot of them, the logistics of it's a little bit challenging. So our KPIs have evolved and changed a little bit. So we're still dialing that in. So we've measured all sorts of stuff. So we haven't found that one that truly measures everything yet.
Sure.
We measure a lot of stuff. I have this nice, cool looking spreadsheet that has a bunch of numbers on it, and there's three of them that we pay attention to. And this we're really wanting to get to where we're doing about 6 jobs a day. Right now, we're averaging 3.
Okay.
So we're looking at it this morning, but now we're partnered up with a software company that's helping us with logistics and trying to narrow that down. So, my next goal is to be at 4. Hopefully we'll get to 6, but I think first quarter next year we'll be at 4 or 5 a day, basically.
Right. Small incremental improvement.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
And, of course, CSI is always a good one too. So we monitor CSI based on per van.
Yep.
And it's pretty cool to see the feedback from our customers on that.
Yeah. What kind of feedback are you getting from your customers?
So just the technicians are great. It's nice that the customer gets to talk to the actual person working on their car. So that's pretty much the feedback that we get consistently. A lot of feedback that says, I love mobile service. My next car I'm going to buy from you. So you hear a lot of repetitive praise about remote service. And being a service manager for so many years, it's nice to get some good feedback on that, because a lot of times you don't hear every once in a while you do, but mobile service is more consistent.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
like you don't dread opening up the CSI report. It's like, oh shoot, let me
That's
see
great.
what it says.
That's great. Well, I would imagine that it takes a special kind of individual to staff a remote vehicle, because they not only have to be technically proficient, but they have to really be proficient with customer skills as well. How have you found that to be a challenge in terms of staffing your vehicles?
Not really, because there's people out there. You got to know what great looks like and what the ideal mobile technician are, because we haven't been great at it, but we're getting better with it. So they do have to be able to communicate. They do have to be able to work on the job and stuff like that. And I'm trying to think, the oldest tech I have, a lot of my techs are under 30. They just enjoy, they like being outside. There is a lot of people that really don't want to work inside. You look at a lot of construction workers. We have a technician that used to work on pools. He was a pool repair guy. And he's phenomenal. He knows how to talk with customers. He don't mind working outside. It doesn't bother him, and it's still the maintenance part of it. So they're out there. You just need to know what exactly you want so you can check all the boxes with it. I started in December, and we had 11 technicians, and now we have 46 technicians in the mobile. So they're out there. You just got to proactively find them.
Yep. Finally, as we wrap up here, I'm curious as to, kind of from an administrative standpoint, if that's the right word, how you're handling mobile service with like copies of repair orders or paperwork or that type of thing. How do you handle that from a remote perspective?
It's complicated. That one it's really not, because we did have to battle that part of it, especially the transition from a mobile repair to the main shop. And we tried different ways, and I think we're getting a little bit closer to dialing it in. So just, if a technician goes and diagnoses a vehicle and it needs a part, what is we got to make sure all the techs document every test they did, and then we have to hand that over to an advisor in the main shop. We close that ticket out and we open it back up when the customer comes back. So that communication has been improving tremendously through software and notes in the system and stuff like that. But we're pretty much digital on repair orders and stuff like that. So our guys are just looking on their laptops. We have our technicians create some repair orders right in the DMS on their van. So our technicians have learned to create repair orders and put their notes in and all that stuff. And then I have a service advisor that kind of makes sure it's perfect and everything's done correctly and stuff like that. So definitely you have to take your dealership hat off every once in a while. And what we find out is everybody says, no, you have to do it that way. And I was like, well, who said that? And I was like, I don't remember. We've always done it that way. And it's like, is it a requirement? Is it
Yeah.
something? And usually it's not.
Yeah.
Usually somebody 20 years ago said, no, you can't do that. And they didn't have a good reason. So everybody kind of stuck with it. And when you start asking that why question, it's like, okay, that was 20 years ago. A lot's changed in 20 years.
Yeah, for sure.
So you just got to ask yourself the why, that why question. Who said that? Find the information. Because a lot of stuff that we figured out that we've done in the past really wasn't, it was extra work, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic. Well, as we wrap up here, Jeremy, what's I think it's just fascinating the work that you've done and what you've accomplished in such a short period of time there. What's the thing that you enjoy most about this business, and what's the thing you enjoy most about what you're currently working on?
So two things. I'm excited because it's something that a lot of people said that it can't be done. I like having some haters out there. I enjoy it because this is just fun. It's fun because it's something different. It's a new challenge every day, and I love building teams. I got some wonderful people that make it happen, basically. And I love seeing them grow. So once I see the team grow and see what we're doing, like I said, we're developing new software, and you know how when you develop new software, it's hard.
Sure.
But I'm seeing all these guys and women step up to the plate and just step up into these leadership roles and stuff like that. So that's what fires me up on that, seeing the growth with people and just proving that mobile service is not as complicated as what everybody's making it out to be.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, Jeremy, we appreciate your time very much. If any of our listeners want to get a hold of you, ask you any questions, what's the best way for them to do that?
Probably the best way. I'm active on social media, so
Okay.
LinkedIn, Facebook. You can message me on any of that.
Great.
We
Well,
always encourage people to come by the dealership. We love to show you around. We're pretty much open book. We kind of not hide anything. We like to share stuff. We like to see other people win also.
fantastic. Well, we'll include a link to your socials and your LinkedIn profile on the show notes. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you, they can do it that way. And Jeremy, thanks very much for joining us. Really, really appreciate it.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, Bill.
You've been listening to Retention Roadmap, Navigating Service Success for New Car Dealerships. Subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, or wherever you get your podcasts.